Walk into any garden center today and the message is clear. You need things: fertilizer in bags, mulch in bales, drip lines, soil amendments, pesticides, weed barriers, soaker hoses, fungicides. An entire industry built around the idea that growing food is a constant battle requiring an arsenal. And yet, just a generation or two ago, our grandmothers grew more food than most households today, with almost none of it. No greenhouses, no subscription seed boxes, no specialty soil mixes, just a small patch of ground, a few quiet routines, and an enormous amount of practical knowledge that has nearly disappeared. The secret wasn't that they worked harder. In many cases, they worked far less. What they had was something more important. They built systems that worked with nature instead of against it. Whole frameworks where the garden began to take care of itself. Here are 3 of those forgotten systems. Start with the oldest companion planting system on the continent, the 3 Sisters. Long before anyone in North America had ever heard the word gardening, indigenous farmers across Mesoamerica and what is now the United States had perfected a planting method so elegant it has fed entire civilizations for thousands of years. They called the crops they grew together the 3 Sisters: corn, beans, and squash. 3 plants planted in the same mound, each one helping the others. The corn rises tallest, providing a natural stalk for the beans to climb. No trellises, no stakes, no wooden frames. The beans, being legumes, pull nitrogen out of the air and fix it into the soil, feeding the corn and the squash. And the squash spreads its broad, prickly leaves low across the ground, shading the soil, holding in moisture, and discouraging weeds and animals from coming near. Plant the 3 together, and you have a system where each plant solves the problems of the others. No fertilizer added, no weeding required, no daily watering. The garden tends itself. Nutritionally, the combination is just as brilliant. Corn provides carbohydrates, beans provide protein, squash delivers vitamins, minerals, and fats from its seeds. Together, they make a complete, sustaining diet, which is exactly how indigenous peoples used them for generations, with almost no inputs. The 3 Sisters wasn't a clever trick. It was a working theory of how gardens are supposed to function. A model built on relationships, not interventions. And it still works today, in any backyard willing to try it. The next system solves a problem grandmothers spent half their summers fighting: watering. Anyone who has tried to keep a garden alive through a hot, dry July knows the exhaustion. Watering cans in each hand, hoses dragged across the lawn, plants wilting overnight no matter how much water you gave them the evening before. It's the single most labor-intensive task in any traditional garden. For at least 4,000 years, gardeners in North Africa, Persia, India, and parts of China solved it with a single piece of pottery: the olla. An olla is a simple unglazed clay pot, narrow at the neck, broad at the belly. You bury it in the soil up to its neck, fill it with water, and cap it. Then you forget about it. The unglazed clay is naturally porous, so water seeps through the walls slowly, but only as fast as the soil around it can absorb it. When the roots of nearby plants pull moisture from the soil, the olla replaces it. When the soil is saturated, the pot stops releasing water almost entirely. It is, in effect, a self-regulating underground irrigation system, invented thousands of years before anyone had the word irrigation. Studies have measured the difference. Plants watered by ollas use anywhere from 50 to 70% less water than plants watered from above, while growing just as well. Sometimes better, because the roots stay deep, drawn down toward the moisture instead of staying shallow. There's no evaporation loss, no daily watering, no water hitting leaves and triggering disease. You fill the pot once a week. The garden does the rest. A 4,000-year-old technology, almost entirely forgotten, and quietly more efficient than anything sold today. And the 3rd system was the one that turned Grandma's garden into something that almost ran itself: deep mulching. For centuries, traditional gardeners across Europe and North America layered hay, straw, leaves, or aged grass clippings several inches thick over their entire growing beds. The reason wasn't decoration. The reason was that once a garden is properly mulched, the soil starts behaving differently, and the gardener's workload collapses. A thick layer of mulch suppresses nearly every weed. The few that push through are easy to pull from the soft soil underneath. The mulch traps moisture, so the ground stays cool and damp for days longer than bare earth. It feeds the soil as it breaks down, replacing the need for fertilizer. And it builds the kind of deep, living, microbe-rich ground that modern tilled gardens have largely lost. A mid-20th century gardener named Ruth Stout famously gardened well into her 90s without tilling, weeding, or watering, using nothing but a deep, continuous layer of straw and hay. But she didn't invent the method. She simply remembered it. The same approach had been used on farms and in kitchen gardens across the world for generations before tractors and tilling rewrote the rules. The deep mulch garden is the closest a household ever gets to the rhythm of a forest floor. Things fall, things break down, things grow. You contribute much less than you would expect. And the ground keeps producing year after year with very little asked of you. 3 systems, 3 quiet ways of working with the garden instead of against it. A patch of 3 crops that fed and watered each other. A clay pot buried in the ground, slowly thinking for you. A blanket of straw that did the weeding, the watering, and the feeding all at once. What our grandmothers knew, and what most of us have forgotten, isn't a list of clever tricks. It's a way of seeing. A garden in their hands was a set of relationships. Between plants, between soil and water, between season and seed. They didn't fight the system. They joined it. The shelves at the garden center will tell you a different story, but the older one still works. That's what we keep returning to here at Forgotten Land. The wisdom that hides in the ordinary, in the small rhythms that quietly kept entire households fed. There's more of it waiting, a little further in,